Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ban with Retro Handhelds, or if you've gotten the picture by now, it's Ban's Hands. And today we're going to be taking an unboxing and first look impressions at not a powkiddy, not an Anbernic, not a Retroid, the open source Smart Pocket Max, handheld game console CB408. If you can't tell, this is not something I've seen before. It's purpose built to spark your imagination. Okay, kind of just looking around the box, you kind of get the usual like gobbledygook. I'll say this box like feels absolutely terrible. It's rough around the edges. It like scrapes loudly when you drag it across the table, but it's fine. It's just a handheld. You can actually pick this up off of AliExpress. Its original price is $79.99, which I'm not sure I'd recommend. I waited until the sale, which happens like every other week, and got mine for about $68. Specs are actually things you've probably seen before. It says an ARM Cortex A55, but really it's an RK3566, which means you get the 1GB of RAM, you get the ARM Mali G52EE GPU. Unlike a lot of the other ones, this one has a 4.7-inch 1280 by 720p display. On the AliExpress listing, they claim you can actually get dual boot Android and Linux, but I haven't seen that. Inside, you get USB-C cable. You get a manual that this colorway very much reminds me of some of those older Anbernic handhelds. Obviously, I don't think they're related. At least you get the fold-out manual. Oh, okay, cool. It's got the side that you can actually read. I actually bought, they called it burgundy, but on the box they call it wine red. You can also get it in sky blue as well as gray. Ooh. Okay, that's a look. On the back, you get those little grippy pads that kind of remind you of older Anbernic handhelds, especially the like 3.5 series, 3.5.1 series. That is a nice red. It's cool to the touch, which is kind of funny. Looking around on the outside, you get, if you can see that a little bit closer, it's very much ribbed. But on the bottom, you have what looks to be dual bottom firing speakers. On the left side, nothing. On the right side, nothing. On the top, looks like you have micro SD card. What's in the box? What's in the box? 128 gigabytes, actually. That's pretty impressive, especially when they're the no-name ones. 2 buttons, neither of which are labeled, so I don't know what they do. A USB-C for charging. It's rated for 5 volts, 1.5 amps. You be careful with that. Mini HDMI, a full-size USB port, which I imagine you can do your OTG or, you know, your dongles and stuff. 3.5mm headphone jack. On the front, looks like you have start select all the way on the other sides. Wait, no, those are select and start. Whatever these are, I'm not sure. Looks like you have the like Android home button as well as the Android back. 2 switch style sticks. If you wanted your stick on top for 3566, there's your answer. Personally, I would have preferred to have the D-pad up top. As for the D-pad, it's a little bit stiff. I'd say it's closer to more of those Anbernic handheld. If you point out a powkiddy, I've noticed they kind of have a looser feeling D-pad. Face buttons, yeah, they've got a nice solid like actuation and then they thunk down. Like I said earlier, it's a 4.7-inch screen. Let's see. Wait, I don't know. Can I get the sound of the peel in here? I don't think I did, but that was a nice peel actually. Go out on a limb. Yep, power button. Rock chip kernel. Let's see. So this is well and truly a no-name brand, it feels like. Oh, CB, always share the good. If this is good, yeah, I'm happy to share it with you, but that is quite the introduction. It's a 3566, so it's going to take a bit to boot. I'm going to set that right there. Oh, tablet is starting. Why does that? So, okay, it's Android, but it almost immediately booted into this front end. What do we have here? Arcade game. Whoa, okay. There's a lot of arcade games, more arcade games. It looks like you've kind of got the full suite of what you'd usually expect. There is Dreamcast, though. What are the 4 Dreamcast games it shows? Capcom, Crazy Taxi. Oh, I don't know if you see that. I'm getting double inputs when it didn't seem to be all the time, but that was kind of odd. Let's see. Oh, let's go with something I enjoy. Game Boy Advance. He's got a lot of box art scraped. Oh, I think I saw something for Stubbs. I will have to let him know. Yes, it's got Barbie games. He's gonna love that. Using the shoulder buttons to skip through the menu to skip down the list, it feels fine. It's a little bit of a light click. It feels like one of those that you would kind of get tired of like spam pressing. But in all honesty, if you're just kind of hit it once, move on. I think you're gonna be fine. After all this work, I'm gonna be a bit disappointed if it doesn't have the game I test on like everything. No, Sonic Advance. Usually when it comes to, okay, boots right up in. Okay, they left the overlay on. It's stretched all the way out to 60.9. Those are some chunky side bezels, I'll tell you that for sure. 1280 by 720. Honestly, that's going to be a pretty nice size experience. Oh, does this have a touch screen? That was one thing I didn't notice, was whether or not it had a touch screen. Oh, okay. These are volume buttons. That's actually not bad for a speaker. I'm going to try and not get everyone copyright striked. I don't think this is a touchscreen, I'm going to be honest. If you're just staying within the main menu, yeah, that's fine. If you want to make adjustments through RetroArch, you're going to have to make sure that you know what you're doing to just jump around. I'm just trying to see if I can remove the overlay. It's been a while since I've done it like this. Nope, I guess they stay for now. Game start. Honestly, this is a really like bright screen. If I keep trying to touch it because I know it's Android underneath. If I can just get the overlay to go away, honestly, this isn't too bad. It kind of reminds me of the RK3566 handheld, the Anbernic RG552, where it was like this really nice widescreen device that worked really well with like GBA, worked well with Portmaster. For an RK3566 handheld, honestly, this isn't your worst option, but at the same time, I don't think I could say, you know, go out and buy this for the, what, they were asking $80 MSRP. At this point, it's hard to recommend most RK3566 handhelds, especially as they drop in price. I've seen people selling RG503s, which are 3566 handheld for like 50-60 bucks. The RGB10 Max 3, you can get that for as low as 60 bucks. You can get the X55. I don't recommend that one. You can get it fairly cheap as well. At least it's a really nice, really blue backdrop. Honestly, at this point, I think as an Android device, this probably wouldn't be the best, but if you can just get Linux firmware onto it, I think you'd actually have a good time. Think like Rocknix, ArcOS, somewhere in there. Yeah, you have a lot of options for games out of here. I don't know where these are going to come in handy for you. If you're looking for a widescreen 3566 and it needs to be in red, not a bad choice. As for whether or not you'll see more out of this, I don't think you'll see a video from this from Stubbs. You might see one from Zoo. If that's the case, I'm sure there's going to be a link for it down below. I know I will probably be writing something on this eventually. This might be the only time you see this ribbed red beauty with the oddly cushiony rubber pads. They're not bad, but this is one that's definitely going to need some work in the oven if the community wants to give it. That's the thing. It's up to the community. So, this has been, well, Band's Hands, Band's Unboxed, something. And thanks so much for watching.